Things on this piece of paper look like beautiful gold colored paint, but it actually has another purpose.
Right. It's a masking agent that watercolors use it when they want a thin line of white. Instead of trying to paint one direction and stopping and then painting the other direction and stopping to leave the white line, we actually put down a line of Frisket, which is latex. It dries, and you can actually paint right over it. Let me show you. Here's the line of Frisket that we have, like here and here. And then I've painted over it, and as you can see, I just started taking this one off. As you take it off, there's a white line underneath that we didn't have to carefully paint up to. And then you have the option of carefully painting on that line so that you get just that, or knowing your colors, you can actually go over both of these. And now the white line has turned yellow, and the blue has turned green.
Wow.
If you know your color philosophy
Right.
and color wheels. So I use that a lot. Like this looks like yellow paint, but it's actually Frisket saving out the center of that flower.
Wow. And so on this painting in particular, as you're working, we've noticed around us that it's a little bit like the yard.
Yeah, well, it's right in back of me.
Yeah.
This is my studio extension out there. All the plants and things that I do, if I don't actually own them and grow them in my yard, I'll go buy a sample of them and have them here for the wild that I'm painting on them.
Wow.
I like them to be accurate. I like the inspiration of having them around.
And as you're painting, talk a little bit about your hands and being steady, and how do you master that technique?
Well, ironically enough, I kind of consider myself a clunky painter, but I'm not doing illustrations for a scientific book, and when I put down a wash, I'd be careful, but if you get very, very close, my edges are not perfect, and if I overlap, actually a good brush helps right there. But if I overlap a little bit, I would look at it and decide whether, if it bothers me, I'll pick it up and repaint it. So I don't think that you have to be, an expert at just never shaking or anything like that. It is what it is. It's watercolor, and sometimes it gets pretty wet.
And something this size, which is much smaller than what you normally work on, how long would it take to do this in color once you have the pencil down and you get rolling?
I generally work on a piece about 3 weeks, start to finish. I'm not working all of that time, 8 hours a day. I learned early on that there's a point when you're tired of painting, no matter if there's time left or not, you shouldn't just keep painting because there's time, you'll make mistakes. So I haven't calculated the number of hours, but I do know that if I started painting this 2 days ago, 3 weeks from now it'll be done. And I only have that as a reference. I just don't know the hours that go into it.
In between, you take a rest, you come back. Do you ever change your mind? Do you say, I would like to have it a different way, or does that preparation ahead of time sort of prevent that?
No, you're always looking at it and thinking, what could I do better? The preparation is the backbone, but I would never do something that wasn't. If I look at the piece and it's not working, I wouldn't care how much preparation I did. I would change it on the spot. But I had the confidence to do that because I've done the homework. I have my skeletal work down there. So I'm not making up every single thing. I might decide I want that a little darker than I painted it, and I would certainly do that, whether my sketch showed it or not, if I thought it was more appropriate to the painting.
And tell us a little bit about this room that you're in. And I have to ask, you're painting on top of what seems to be a carpet.
Yeah. I had these tables specially made. Actually, there's 2 separate tables, and they're 6 foot apiece. So I have 12 feet of working space, and it's all shelves underneath. So it's really a wonderful storage unit, and I had it made to exactly my height so that I don't have to bend over.
I was going to ask you about that, yeah.
And the carpet came about because I had a carpet, and I didn't know where to store it. And then I put plexiglass over the top, so I'm not just pouring water on it all day long. But it made for a nice cushion. It made for an aesthetic painting surface. So I just enjoyed it.
And briefly, in just the little bit of time that we have left, you also have a lot of things in here that have shown up in your paintings. Fish in the corner, sometimes birds.
Right.
So your studio is part of your life, and that comes into your paintings. It all sort of overlaps.
Oh, absolutely. I think as an artist, you always have to paint what is near and dear to your heart. And I love animals, I love plants. I have a tank full of fish over there. I have a parrot that lives upstairs who sometimes lives here in the studio. My dog comes through to see what's up. So it's an active studio. Not too many people come through, lots of animals. But you really have to paint what you know and what you love.
David is only one of the great art professors we have here at Montgomery College. Log on to montgomerycollege.edu for more information about art classes to suit any interest.
And if you have comments about today's show or suggestions for future episodes, send an email to campus.conversations@montgomerycollege.edu. For all of us here at Campus Conversations, I'm Marcus Rosano.
And I'm Fritzi Bodenheimer. Thanks for watching.